All right, everybody, let's take a gander at the hardest question of all. You know, who is the beast from the earth? Who is it most like? That is a very interesting question. For those of us who know the Bible, God's holy word, on an intimate level. Now, what I mean by that, I don't know the KJV. I don't know the NIV. I don't know the New King James Version. I don't know the ESV. I know the Greek and the Hebrew. That's what I know. And so when people want to talk about who the bad guy is, that's a bifurcated question. There are two beasts. There's two beasts. There was always two beasts. And Satan and his shepherds have eliminated this knowledge from the church. When I say that question is bifurcated, there are two beasts. There's two beasts. One of the beasts is from the sea. I'm not going to talk about that one. The other one from the earth, you should know if you're intimate with the Bible, God's holy word. Because those of us who are intimate, we know what the actual Greek says. Right there you could see it. Now, here in the Greek, Revelation 13 verse 11 says this: coming up out of the earth. This phrase in Hebrew, now take note, the two main words here to come up is G305 in your Strong's Concordance. Please look that up. Try to become familiar with the Bible, God's holy word, on an intimate level. That's how you do it. The Strong's is the best way to get your feet wet. So take note. The other word for earth is G1093. This phrase, come up out of the earth, it's in another Bible verse. It is in another Bible verse. Now, unfortunately, 99% of the people cannot get to the Greek. It can't get to the Greek of the Old Testament. And herein lies the problem. This phrase comes up in 1 Samuel chapter 28 with the witch of Endor. It stares you right in the face there in the Greek. That's where it's at. The witch of Endor brings up Samuel from the grave. Now, if most of you didn't know that, it'll rattle your cage. A lot of people that are just churchgoers, they've never heard a sermon or a Sunday school lesson on the witch of Endor bringing up Samuel from the dead. And it amazes me that people really don't know this that are churchgoers. And it bears testimony that the sad shape that the church is in, it really is sad. But just take note that here in 1 Samuel chapter 28, verse 14, if you get to the Blue Letter Bible and you have the app, take note that one of its options is the Septuagint, When you click on that and you look at it in the Greek, it is very plain that there's G305 and G1093. Here it is, the same thing that I showed you from Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. Here it is again. It's right there. This should make your perception of this beast from the abyss explode. Because take note, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 4, verse 4 states, this one claims to be God. We have triple witnesses in the Old Testament of who's going to do that. Isaiah chapter 14, those verses there say that this one that claims to be God, he dies. Ezekiel chapter 28, it also states this person is going to claim to be God, and guess what those verses say? They say that he dies. This is two witnesses from the great prophets, Isaiah and Ezekiel. This one also claims to be God in the prophet Daniel, chapter 11, verses 36 through 39. When you know this, it should help you expand your database. This beast from the earth will be like the prophet Samuel, and the prophet Samuel is on a different level. He's on a different level. Now, when you know that, when you're able to perceive those things, it gets real tricky because things are stated about Samuel that's the next level. It really is the next level. Most people are not familiar with the particulars of what made Samuel so special. This is what made Samuel special. So Samuel grew, and the Lord was with him, and let none of his words fall to the ground. Who else has that been said about, ladies and gentlemen? God let not one word of his not come true. Samuel was the perfect prophet. The perfect prophet. Take note, verse 20 of 1 Samuel chapter 3. And all Israel from Dan to Beersheba knew that Samuel had been established as a prophet of the Lord. Verse 21. Then the Lord appeared again in Shiloh, for the Lord revealed himself to Samuel in Shiloh by the word of the Lord. This gives you insight about how this beast from the earth acquires his vast power. What this is saying here, ladies and gentlemen, in the future there's going to come a time when the devil will make the offer just like he did to Jesus when Jesus was tested 40 days in the wilderness. Only this person is going to accept. What this is saying here, if you read 1 Samuel chapter 3, 19 through 21, it gives you great insight that the devil is going to do the same thing. He offered Jesus, and this beast from the earth is going to accept it. He is going to die, and he will come up from the earth. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. So once you know this, you realize you can study Samuel and find out about the false prophet.